So I think Florida State being a contender still right now is a great thing. When Jameis gets back, hopefully he can make it through this year without any more incidences. All right. Also, five-time Pro Bowler James Harrison, less than 3 weeks after returning to the Pittsburgh Steelers to officially retire, is now expected to re-sign with them. And he's actually already signed with them today and wake up a couple of injuries with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ryan Shazier, Jarvis Jones, former Georgia UGA player, have been injured. And Jarvis Jones, they're expecting to come back later on in the season, but not right now. So they needed help at linebacker. And James Harrison is coming out of retirement after 3 weeks. And I think that's a great story. I think that's a real fun story. Does he have anything left in the tank? Evidently not too much, because the Cincinnati Bengals didn't try to retrieve his services. They cut him this year. I'd like to see him perform well. And you talk about a Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker. He's the epitome of a Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker. And you think about Pittsburgh Steelers linebackers, they're tough, nasty, rugged. You talk about guys like Levon Kirkland and Greg Lloyd and Gillian and just a ton of Joey Porter, just a ton of tough, nasty, and that's what I was kind of speaking about earlier. There's like an expectancy of Pittsburgh Steelers linebackers to be nasty and rough. And just like I interviewed Greg Lloyd last year, and his whole disposition is just nasty. Very good guy, great guy. But some of the things that Greg Lloyd, and I talked about this in one of my YouTube shows, one of the things about Greg Lloyd that kind of alarmed me is we were talking off camera, and Greg Lloyd was talking about these, pussy rules in the NFL. And I can say that. I can say that because I'm on the internet. But you can even say that on Celestial Radio. But he talked about all the rules and how lame they are, and talked about how violent things used to be and how he used to like come under guys' chins. And it was just a different kind of football when those guys played, especially now with Roger Goodell and some of the new rules that the league has implemented. You can't touch guys anymore. But Greg Lloyd talked about how he talked about in a real nasty, just tough way about how football should be played from a defensive perspective. And that's what you saw in Pittsburgh Steelers linebackers. And James Harrison fits perfectly into that. Yeah, Kevin Green back in the day. So I think it's a good story. It's good to see him that he's going to be back on the field. How much he can help the team, I don't know. We'll have to see how that works out. 404-382-0338. 404-382-0338. You can also text the show at 770-847-0536. What's going on with your team? Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, we are going to break down every single game from this past weekend. And I'll give you my thoughts on the particular teams at that particular conference. And so we'll have a nice conversation about what's going on in the NFL, the state of the NFL right now after 3 weeks. I mentioned we're doing trivia today as well. How about some did you knows in the world of sports? Did you know that every ball used in Major League Baseball is dirty? In order to take the slick factory sheen off and allow pitchers to get a better grip, Major League Baseball wipes down each baseball with mud from an undisclosed location on the Delaware River. And it's been done this way, the same damn Delaware River, for 75 years. Now you talk about showing off in front of your friends. Come up with some of these sports facts, and you can do that. The word soccer is an 1800s slang term. Soccer comes from the abbreviation of association, or ASSOC, as in Football Association. According to the online etymology dictionary, it began as soccer, then morphed into soccer, and finally into soccer. That's a little known fact right there from the world of sports. 404-382-0338. We're going to talk to, a little bit later this week, we're going to talk to some great guests. We got a great guest lined up. I'm trying to confirm it 100% for our Throwback Thursday guest. So you know how Throwback Thursday work. works. And Throwback Thursday is basically where we talk to one of the greatest players in sports history, preferably a Hall of Fame type player, but a damn great player and a guy from yesteryear, one of those old school players I talked about and some of the Pittsburgh Steelers players that I mentioned a couple of seconds ago. So we're going to do Throwback Thursday, Football Friday, where we're going to get into and preview some of the games from the coming weekend in the NFL and in college football. On Wednesday, it's a Word on the Street Wednesday, and we're going to have talk rumors, and it's also a Woman Wednesday. If women call up here and they have questions about sports in general, we're going to take those calls. And I had this idea from one of my friends, Tree. Tree's actually one of the producers for the show as well. And she mentioned how her and her girlfriends always, are kind of scared to ask sports questions from their boyfriends or from their husbands because they don't want to seem like they're stupid, which is understandable that they wouldn't know because women historically don't buy into sports as much as guys do. So, simple question. She was like, what's the 3-second rule? The 3-second rule, in basketball. So I explained it to her, and she was like, okay, that wasn't that hard. So Women's Wednesday is something that we're going to do, where we're going to take some calls from women and get their questions answered, anything sports related, as well as a Word on the Street Wednesday, where we're going to talk about rumors as well as conspiracies, all that type of thing on Wednesdays. So hit your boy up, 404-382-0338. Yesterday I mentioned during the show about the Braves possibly firing their general manager, Frank Wren. And evidently, right as I was making that comment, Frank Wren actually got fired during that hour at some point. So he's gone, and the Braves have just really, really had a tough time. And the question now is what about Freddie Gonzalez? And will he survive? And allegedly, word is coming out from Braves camp, if you're an Atlanta Braves fan, that yes, that Freddie Gonzalez is going to stay with the team, that he is fine. Okay? The move was announced by John Sherholtz, who scheduled a news conference, and now the general manager, the new general manager, or not the new general manager, but the interim general manager is going to come in, John Hart, as well as Bobby Cox, and John Sherholtz are going to try to form this committee to try to find a new GM. And so we'll see what happens with that. The Braves just haven't been able to put anything together. And speaking from a guy that follows the Braves, followed them real hard this year, they really started out great and just fell off. And it was something that people talked about at the beginning of the season. It seems like they had a lot of free swingers on this team. And the guys that, if they started to get in the slumps, that it wouldn't be good, and the worst happened. B.J. Upton couldn't hit the backside of a barn. Batted, I think, like .211. Only drove in like 30-something runs. That's crazy for a guy that's getting $75 million. Historically about what's going on with Dan Uggla and the fact that he's just been putrid ever since he came to Atlanta. So those are the reasons why Frank Wren is probably out of the doors, because some of his biggest moves just didn't work out. Dan Uggla, Derek Lowe, now this latest thing with B.J. Upton. What do? You have to try to make a change. And I guess it started there. I guess they're satisfied that Freddie's not the problem, and so they're going to keep him around. But the Braves got to turn some things around real quick. And you look at that superstar lineup. I mean, they've got some fantastic players. On paper, they have a fantastic team. You talk about that outfield. That might be the best outfield in baseball if B.J. Upton could hit the damn ball, if he could produce behind the plate. You talk about Jason Hayward, Justin, and B.J. Upton. Fantastic athletes, fantastic players. And let's be honest, a very good fit in a city like Atlanta. And I remember for years, and when I say a city like Atlanta, I'm talking about an Atlanta with a black population that it has. For years, fans had always talked about why in a city like Atlanta and a great organization like the Braves, couldn't we get a couple more black players on the team? And it seems like they never really had black players on the team. Now you got three guys that are big names, that have superstar potential, that are black and that really could play and that can produce at a high level. It's just that BJ is not producing. So you can give me a green play if he's going to hit, if he's going to hit 320, and bring in 100 runs. And that's just not what BJ's doing right now. So if they can ever get this thing together, I think the Braves got a great lineup. I think they can really contend for a long time, and they did forever with all the pennants that they went over that long stretch. I believe like 14 years. So the organization has always been a great organization, especially traditionally over the last couple of, I'd say probably 15, 20 years. So they really need to bring things together, and Frank Wren did not survive it. Freddie Gonzalez is going to survive it, and so hopefully they can turn things around. All right, up next on the Doug Stewart Show, we're going to grab calls, and we're going to read some tweets, and we're also going to talk about looking at some interesting tidbits from the NFL Week 3, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. Grab your calls, trivia, all of that. All right? Sports talk with hot sauce. It's the People's Show. The Doug Stewart Show. The Doug Stewart Show is off and running. But just like every company, we need sponsors. Would yours like to work with one of the livest, most dynamic, and recognized sports talk show personalities in America? By the way, that's me. Getting in on the ground floor? Well, call us at 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com, and let's do business. From the smallest company in Atlanta to the biggest brands nationally and worldwide, shawty. People know me and the Stews brand in these streets. Holla at your boat. Once again, the number is 770-847-0536 or email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Yes! I'm always saying get with the times. Stop acting like you at your mama house, calling that girl you met at summer camp 2 states away, and your mama screaming out, I know you better not be talking long distance on that phone, running up my bill with that old hussy. Well, get with the times with your long distance charges. Presenting Univon. Univon offers unlimited worldwide calling to 60 plus countries for $14.99 a month. No contract, no activation fee, and no cancellation fee. Users can call anytime using their mobile phone or home IP phone. So stop flushing money down the drain. Get more details by clicking Univon's link banner on thedougsstewartshow.com or the link on the DougStewartShow.com app. Try out Univon and call your people like you not at your mama house. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right, billions with a B. Well, just do it and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one console, a Facebook shopping application, a mobile-optimized website, and much, much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on their link on thedougsstewartshow.com or the app link for details.
What you gonna do when you get out of jail? I'm gonna listen to Doug Stewart. It's the Doug Stewart Show.
It is the Doug Stewart Show, coming to you live, real live, from the ATL, the hottest, most interactive sports talk show in America. Tell people about it. Tell at least 2 people. I would like if you tell 50. Like, just spread it all over your social networks. That would be real good and help your boy out. That's right, the Doug Stewart from ESPN's First Take over 5-6 years. Me and my brother Ryan, the 2 live stews, went up there and routinely put foot in Skip Bayless's ass. So much to the point that they told us not to come back. That's all right. That's all right, man. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining me. This segment brought to you by Univon. Great long distance prices, and long distance, not like you at your mama house. Go to thedougsstewartshow.com and click on the link and check out Univon. All right, 404-382-0338 is the number to the show, and you can also text me at 770-847-0536. The best way though is to get me on Twitter. Is to hit your boy on Twitter, because I got this like Twitter screen right in front of me right now, and It's real good. It's real interactive. You know, I always talk about interactive.